Good morning, good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to another Geek Tavern. As always, it's me, Shawn, and I'm joined by Mike.
Hello.
And Aaron. I'm a little under the weather right now, so if I'm blowing my nose in the middle, don't. Just ignore me.
You could go back and it's probably the same episode every year.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sick.
Did you say don't just ignore you?
Yeah, you have to listen to me blowing my nose. Anyway, we're here to talk about my recommendation for this episode, which was The Big Lebowski. I should have looked up when this movie came out, but I believe it was...
99.
Yeah, not her.
I think.
Joel and Ethan Coen, written and directed...
Is it Ethan?
Yes.
I always thought it was Ethan. Why do I think it was Ethan Coen?
Well, there is an Ethan Coen. Maybe I'm confusing the two. One of them made Garfield, and the other one is the brother of Joel Coen. Anyway, and a side note, that's why Bill Murray signed on to voice Garfield, because he thought the Coen brothers were writing it.
Oh.
And it turned out that it wasn't the same person. So
Wouldn't that just be incredible if they split like the Wachowskis?
yes.
They're like, listen, I don't want to make these kinds of movies anymore. What do you want to make? Garfield. He's like, go do it, man.
A highbrow version of
You
Garfield.
be my guest.
Anyway, The Big Lebowski. Late 90s, early 2000s. Film that came out pretty much just a very high-concept stoner comedy movie.
Yeah.
It is hard to explain the plot because there's just kind of like all these kind of things happening throughout the movie. But ultimately, when you boil it down, it's kind of a parody of like noir detective movies.
Yeah,
Because-
it's like if you stuck a stoner as like a detective character.
Because, I mean, the dude even gets like mistaken for a PI at one point
Right.
in the film. And he's going on this sort of investigative case on... he shares a name with another Jeffrey Lebowski, who is a larger, older man, hence the name The Big Lebowski.
Played by Papio the Little.
Happy Daniel.
Oh, whatever.
Happy
O'Donnell.
And, so the Big Lebowski's wife gets kidnapped, and basically he's like the in-between to hand off the money, and a whole bunch of crazy shit ensues. So, in the backdrop of, it's a bowling league time of year, and Walter and Donnie and the dude are trying their hardest to be the best bowlers there are.
I'm going to say it right up front. My favorite scenes are when they're at the bowling alley.
Yeah. The bowling alley scenes are pretty good,
The
like a
things
respite.
that happen
Yeah,
at the bowling alley
just
are
because
pretty...
Walter is unhinged.
I think Walter's one of my favorites, so just because of the way that he...
I mean, if you
yeah.
think about it, he's kind of the sole driving force of the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
Like,
because if it wasn't for Walter,
All
half
of
the shit that happened would not.
all of the conflict happens because of Walter.
I was going to say he almost, in a twisted way, kind of talks the dude into wanting to get
Continuing
money.
this.
Yeah.
Wanting to get money for his rug. That,
yeah. All the dude wanted was his rug back.
yeah.
So I will say that I've seen the movie before. I think we established at the end of last episode that neither of you have seen the movie. So
Yeah, never
I
seen
would
it.
like to know what you guys thought of the movie.
I thought it was great. Like, I see the appeal. Like, I know so many people are like, that's my favorite movie. Like, it's my cousin's favorite movie. We watched it on the way to his wedding. They rented like a party bus that we all traveled in, and they were like drinking and watching this movie on the bus. Like, he
White
brought it.
Russians, I hope.
I don't know what I think they were just popped the champagne, but we were watching it, and like, I don't remember much about it. Like, I remembered bits and pieces, but I didn't remember much of anything. But like, yeah, he literally brought a DVD to watch it. Like, I know so many people who this is their favorite movie, and I mean, I get it. It's Coen Brothers movie. It's well written. It's tight like all their movies.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand. I get the hype.
Yeah, for many years, my buddy Owen would always talk about this game, or movie, and I don't know, I can't believe he never maybe sit down and watch it before, but I definitely, like everything you said, I understand now.
Yeah.
Like, is it gonna be one of my favorites? Maybe not, but I understand
Yeah,
what people
I get where everybody's coming
Yeah.
from. I'm like, yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
It is good. Jeff Bridges is a great casting for the dude. Which, I mean,
Jeff Bridges.
he like, this is the second time I've seen Jeff Bridges play like a hippie type of guy. Well, third time maybe.
What are the? I mean, are you gonna say?
I would argue that the first Tron in the
Okay.
beginning, he's kind of like
Like
man,
Flynn,
you know,
kinda.
like yeah, Flynn's kind of like the laid back, like nah, man, like
Because if you think about his career moving forward from this movie, this is kind of like.
he just
I mean,
kind of
maybe,
became a
maybe,
western.
yeah, exactly. Maybe Flynn is kind of like this too, but this is really one of the only instances of this type of character that Jeff Bridges has played, because pretty much from that point on, he was just like a hard-ass, like, Western guy.
Well, I was gonna also bring up Dino De Laurentiis as King Kong.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he is kind of like more like a hippie. I mean, he's a smart hippie, but he's also like a hippie because it was the 70s.
I still never
So-
watched that.
So long hair Jeff Bridges was, you know, just kind of that
I
character.
feel like this is kind of like the closest that Jeff Bridges is actually like in real life, where
Probably.
he just kind of just does his
Yeah.
his own thing.
That's how he dresses normally.
Yeah, yeah. He
They're like-
dresses in that cardigan all the time.
I guarantee you the Coen brothers were like when he auditioned, they're like, we want you to come to the audition in what loungewear you have. And he's like, okay. So like he shows up and they're like, that's it. And he's like, this is just what I wear like walking around the house, man. And they're like, yeah, do it. Wear that. And you know, all right.
I hope that's true.
Because like it's funny because like he has like the boxer shorts, like, and they're boxer shorts, like they don't look like they're like athletic or running shorts, and he's just in a grocery store, and I'm like, bro,
Yeah,
what's wrong with
he's
you?
wearing boxers, like a greasy gray T-shirt with that
And a
cardigan.
robe. No, he has the robe
Oh,
on.
the
in
robe,
the-
yeah,
in the- yeah.
yeah.
So the first scene that we meet the dude, you learn everything you need to know about him. He goes to it's during Sam Elliott's voiceover in the very beginning. He goes to the grocery store. He picks up half and half, but he doesn't pick up the first one. He picks up the one behind it, and then he cuts a check for 96 cents.
Yes.
He-
After he drinks part of the half and
Yeah.
half out of the carton.
yeah, you know exactly everything you need to know about the dude. And then subsequently, after he's being shaken down at his house, is another good like instance of like, okay, this is like solidifying the character.
Yeah.
Whenever they're dunking his head in the toilet, they're like, "Where's the money?" He's like, "Oh, it's down there somewhere. Just let me take another look." He just and whenever it's like, "What the fuck is this?" and it's the bowling ball, he's like, "Obviously, you're not a golfer."
Yeah. I laughed at that one pretty good.
Oh my God. Yeah, and then the dude just pisses on his rug, and he's like, "Come on, man." Oh, that's one of my favorite bits in that is when they say, when he goes, "Hey, isn't this guy supposed to be a millionaire or something?" And he's like, "Oh, fuck," and he's like, "Do I look like a fucking millionaire to you?" Like,
Yeah,
Does it
They
look
say
like a
white.
woman? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it look like I have a
yeah, do I
wife?
look like I'm
The toilet
married?
seat's up.
Yeah, the toilet seat's up. Do I look like I'm married?
yeah. The dude is a good-natured, just complete bum.
Yeah.
Even his landlord shows up and he's like, "Hey, I have a
A
theatrical
dance,
thing."
Yeah.
dance quartet or something.
Yeah.
He's like, "Can you come and give me some notes?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "Oh, by the way, rent is due." And he's like, "Yep." And then he just like closes the door.
About that.
But so yeah, he gets shaken down from. Is it Jackie?
Jackie Treehorn.
Yeah, Jackie Treehorn's guy, who's like
Big
pornographer.
time porn producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Very 70s.
yeah, exactly. I'm not exactly sure when this movie takes place. Obviously, it's after Vietnam because.
No,
I think it says right in it,
Yeah, they say it's
Oh, is
early
it in the
90s
90s?
because that's why Saddam is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I forgot. In the dream sequences, he sees Saddam Hussein.
I love the dream sequences. The dream sequences are great.
Yeah, those are so wild. Just like in the middle of the movie. Well, the first one happens because Maud Lebowski's goons punch him out.
Yeah.
And I think that's whenever he's like floating in the sky and the
Yes.
bowling ball sinks him back to Earth.
He's watching the rug take
Yeah.
off. Like,
Yeah,
the carpet.
Yeah, Maud's on the
Yeah.
rug. And then the second one is after Jackie Treehorn drugs him at his party,
Yeah.
and he has like
And it
the-
turns into like a dance. Like it's like a. it's a very like artistic porno type of thing.
Yeah.
But there's
Oh yeah, he's dressed up as like a handy.
yeah. And he's like dancing down the stairs in the silver and gold bowling shoes, and Saddam Hussein gives him his shoes.
The biggest wall of shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, I guess that was after Maud's, like, him and Maud's first introduction when she asked him about sex or whatever, and he's like, yeah, I mean, whatever. And so, like, she's in it too, so it's like a high fantasy porno.
Yeah, because
him and
like
Maud.
it even like the sequence starts and it says the title. It's her name and then the title of what the porno is.
I forget what it.
Gutter ball.
Gutter
or
balls,
something
yeah,
like
that's
that.
what
Yeah. And then so that it like starts off. I mean, it's very well done. Like it's goofy, but it's like that's one of my favorite parts of the whole movie is that sequence.
They got some crazy shots in this movie, like following the bowling balls down the alley, or like in the dream sequence when the dude is like floating in between the women's legs,
Under the leg,
and he's like hovering off the ground,
Yeah.
and then he like
that looked great.
Yeah, I have no idea how the fuck they did it.
I think that the way, if I was looking at it right, it was
thing.
Well, it was always shot from the side.
Oh,
So I'm thinking that, I mean, this was the early 90s or late 90s. So I'm guessing that he was on one layer and the legs were on like another layer and it was composited together.
so they
to
just
make it
painted.
look like...
They just painted him.
Well, no. Well,
over whenever he went through the legs.
I think that like what they would have done is done one shot where it's their legs in the alleyway, and then one shot where it's him going over, and then they would have composited
like
him in between a layer.
I see.
Because you never actually see their legs behind the first leg, so it'd be easy to mask that with just overlaying it. But
Sure.
there are very creative shots. I
like the one where it's like the POV of the bowling ball.
Yeah.
And it's going like that's crazy.
Yeah.
I looked it up. I guess it's like it was essentially just like a camera on a remote controlled skateboard that they just kind of like had go like down the alleyway and shit. Yeah.
They're known for doing.
They're very talented filmmakers.
They are.
So this was made directly after Fargo. I know that you've seen it. I don't believe.
I have.
You
No, I've
watched
never
the movie.
seen it.
So
Vastly different.
yeah,
Fargo.
extremely different because Fargo obviously had huge like critical and audience success. So they basically got like a green check to like do whatever they wanted. So it's funny that after that type of movie, they're like, we're gonna make this.
Well, and it's also quite funny that they immediately, because I know that the Coens are like Scorsese. They love to use the same people that they've worked with before that they vibe with. John Turturro.
Yeah. John Turturro's, I believe, in like every single one of the movies.
John Turturro, the guy who played Pappy O'Daniel, who is deceased, but he was in however many of their movies.
Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, that guy who was in Miller's Crossing, the guy who plays Defino, the other PI. But also, oh my god, I just lost my entire train of thought. Peter Stormare.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was in Fargo, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He was not to spoil it, the guy who actually killed people.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's fun. It must have been fun for them to take Peter Stormare in such that killer role and then flip him and make him a goofy ass like German who has no fucking clue how to hold a ransom or anything, and like they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. He's just a drunk and just like gets high.
The whole joke of "Shut the fuck up, Donnie"
Oh my God.
is because Steve Buscemi never stops talking about it. He's like constantly won't shut the hell up. So like they wrote it in the script. Steve Buscemi as a character, whenever he would say something, that Walter would just be like, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie." Because it's like people are sick of hearing you talk.
I love that because like he'll just be like he just hangs
the other
out.
line like
You're out of your element.
you're out of
You're out of
your
your element, Donnie. Because he's just like asking questions about like who they're playing in league or something.
Yeah.
He's like, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie." It's like, okay, like, and then I love that at the end when they meet with the Germans and everything, and like Donnie's like clearly like, "Okay, maybe we should leave," and he's like, "Don't worry, Donnie." He's like, "These men are cowards." He's like, "There's nothing to be afraid of." Like he's like protecting Donnie. Then
Are these men gonna hurt us, Walter? No, don't worry, Donnie. They're cowards.
they're not.
They won't do anything.
They won't do anything.
You think we're afraid of you? We don't believe in anything, Lebowski. That's probably my favorite line in the movie is whenever the dude is talking to Walter and Donnie about whenever the nihilists show up and they bust in, he's like in the bath. And they like start breaking shit in his house and they're like, give us the money, we don't care about anything. And Walter's like, oh, they're Nazis. He's like, no, they're not Nazis, they're nihilists, man. And Walter's like, nihilists? Say what you will about the National Socialist Party, but at least it's an ethos. He's like taking the side of Nazis because they believe in something. So fucking as somebody who is a converted Jew.
That's one of the, like, I mean, we just watched the ending with you.
Yeah.
And I was like just laughing my ass off because every time that the nihilist would say something, like, I just love John Goodman's delivery of this. I was like, fuck you. Like, because they're like, give us some money. And he's like, fuck you. Come and get it. Like, and he's like, Walter, don't piss him off. And he's like, no. He's like, what's mine is mine. Like, I was waiting for him to pull the gun.
Oh, I know, right?
But he never pulls the gun. And I was like, I love when the guy charges him and he just throws his bowling ball bag and just caves his chest.
He softball throws the bowling ball.
Could you imagine that? That'd break your rib there.
Probably break your sternum.
Yeah.
For sure.
You guys not recognize who that was?
That was Flea.
Flea, yeah.
Was that Flea?
Yeah.
I thought, because like when I saw his face, I was like, who the fuck
He looked a little bit weird in that scene, but when they're at the table, like those bad guys are at the table, you can really see it. He looks high as fuck.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he's just playing
you
a
told me
character.
Flea was in that too.
Yeah.
I just never put it together who, I think you may have actually said it too, and I just didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Flea must love playing like bad guys, just random ass shit.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan
in a very slow chase scene. Needles.
Yeah, technically needles.
Is Donnie Thornberry a bad guy?
Donnie Thornberry.
He's the antagonist.
Oh, I forgot he did.
Yeah.
Scream. I could just imagine Flea in the voice box just screaming into a
my
microphone.
God. There better be footage of that.
He just comes in and that's all he does. There is footage of it. In fact, I'm like remembering like seeing them in the booth. You know how they used to show like the behind the scenes? I'm pretty sure it was just Flea just going like
I gotta look that up.
I forget what Walter says. He says girl with 9 toes or something like that.
Oh yeah,
He throws the bowling ball.
Yeah, he says fucking dipshit with a 9-toed woman.
Yeah.
Where did she go?
I guess she wasn't gonna be there when they confront Lebowski. Oh, another great joke throughout the whole movie too is just like the dude's like his car is just getting even more and more beat the fuck.
Yeah, he wrecks into a dumpster.
I think that's after the first accident.
It is.
Yeah, because his car is stolen after they're going to do the $1 million handoff with the fake nihilist. Well, they think it's the nihilist, but the Big Lebowski is also just like, I don't care, I'm stealing the money. Spoilers. But so they do the fake handoff with the ringer, which is Walter's underwear.
Which Lebowski did not want to do.
Yeah.
But Walter, like, and it was funny because, like, he's not even driving. Or no, he is driving. He's driving.
The dude isn't driving.
No.
Yeah, Walter's driving.
And he's like...
and after they throw the ringer, he's like, I'm hitting 15 miles an hour, dude. You're going to take over. And then he dives out. Doesn't he take the Uzi with him?
Yeah, he takes the Uzi with him and he goes... He, like, says something and, like, rolls out, rolls across the pavement... The dude loses control of the car.
The Uzi goes...
Yeah, the Uzi starts firing and shooting at the car. The dude wrecks it like into the embankment.
in a telephone pole.
Yeah, and then the nihilists come up, grab the underwear bag, and leave.
Yeah, he's like, we got it!
I thought the Uzi for a second got, like, Walter's leg or something, because he was kind of, like, limping.
Yeah.
It does hit the ground and just goes... and starts
like, full 360, just like...
I thought that shit was hysterical. This is so, like, funnily written.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they knew how to, like, put that comedy in without making it a ham-fisted joke.
Yeah, it's just absurd.
It's just stupid shit like that Walter thought that this plan was gonna work. He does it, and it fucking fails miserably.
And then after it fails, he's just like... Is it that he... I guess they come up with the idea that she kidnapped herself before the handoff, right?
Yeah, that was like,
Yeah, he was
always
working
there.
that
Yeah,
theory,
yeah, that was all. He's like, I bet you she just fucking did it so she
Yeah.
would get more money.
And the funny thing about it is, Walter is right. Well, kind of right. The whole movie, until he goes to rip the Big Lebowski out of the wheelchair, he's like, I've seen spinals, dude. This guy's a phony.
I was waiting for him to be right.
Yeah, he just,
I was waiting for him to be right, but it was funnier. When he
Yeah.
just drops him and he
Drops.
starts sobbing.
he just picks up the Big Lebowski and throws him on the ground, and his legs don't work.
He's just sobbing. And he's like, oh, fuck's
Like
sake,
he's not
Walter,
even
help
saying
me get-"
anything. He's just like
Yeah, and he's like,
crying.
I mean,
he's like, help me get him
thrown out of
I did it. I did it.
He's like, fuck, Walter, help me just put him back in his chair.
So Bunny, like, are we to believe that she's not even of age anyway?
I think that. Well, what did they say? Because
Because it was only like a year after that photo.
yeah, which that's a great joke in itself too. Whenever what's his name? The other Dick, the
Dick.
other PI.
Defino.
Yeah, Defino. Whenever he's like, I'm working with the Knudsen, and he's like, who the fuck?
Who the
Knudsen,
fuck?
man? And it's like, it's her name isn't actually Bunny Lebowski. It's something else.
Yeah, right.
But she's like. He's like, I gotta find her. And he said, just to show him this picture and it'll make her homesick. And it's like the middle of fucking nowhere.
It's like the Kent house.
Yeah. It looks like
a fucking farm.
it's like, oh, she'll get homesick and want to come home. She's living in fucking Southern California.
Goddamn
The most-
mansion.
It was somewhere in Missouri, I think.
Yeah, the
they
most
said.
beautiful fucking place in America.
But I love the fact that Defino is like, really admire your work, man. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I like how he didn't have a chance to, like, talk to Defino before he got pulled into the limo. And so, like, he
he went with Walter. That was the end of the movie.
No. When the first time, because somebody said, who's your buddy in the
yeah,
bug?
yeah.
And
That was
like,
the cat. Yeah, it was the Maud's friend. That was
Maud's
driving him
driver,
back.
and then the limo driver for the Big Lebowski grabbed him before he could even like go towards the bug and threw him in there. So like, if every time Defino followed him, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" And he's like, "I'm a PI like you," and he's like, "The fuck are you talking about?"
I like that you're playing both sides.
Yeah, he's like, "I really admire your work," and he's like, "I don't know what the fuck is going on."
I really like oh fuck, his name escaped me. The Big Lebowski's butler, essentially.
Philip Seymour.
Yeah, Philip
Hoffman.
Seymour Hoffman. Brent is his name.
Yeah.
It's funny because he whenever the dude is like, call me the dude or whatever, he's just like, okay, dude. He's just like, he's saying it as if it was like, sir.
Yeah.
And he's like, you shouldn't go in there, dude. He's very upset.
Yeah.
He's just like talking to him like,
that's my favorite part of like Philip Seymour Hoffman is like Philip Seymour Hoffman, as much as he's known for like dramatic, powerful roles, he can always do comedy so well. Like when he was Dusty in Twister, and even this, him playing the butler type character, is hysterical to me because like he walks the dude to Mr. Lebowski like with his head hung and like hand up, like this so animated. Like he's been in the study ever since. Like,
yeah.
but like he knows how to play. Well, knew how to play those roles.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate passing.
Yes.
I love that the dude just goes after talking with the Big Lebowski, and he's just like, I just want my rug.
Yeah.
Like, just give me a rug, and I'll call it you. And then he's like, I'm not gonna. He's basically like, I'm not negotiating with terrorists. He's like, I'm not gonna do anything for you, bum.
Yeah.
And then as he's leaving, he's like, oh, did you come to an agreement? He's like, yeah, I could take any rug in the house.
Told me to take any rug in the house.
Which happens to be
Maud's mother's favorite rug.
He gave it to. It was her gift to her late mother,
Yeah.
which she is like, he has no right to give away, which is how they became acquainted with each other.
Which is
In another
never
bizarre,
gave it to him.
in another bizarre scene, when the dude goes to Maud's place, and she's like strapped up in that, she's like zip lining and like throwing paint at a canvas or something. It's like
she's like naked. In
yeah,
a zipline.
yeah. It's like such a joke on like
artists,
arts,
yeah.
anything like that. And then he comes back, and David Thewlis is
Yeah.
there.
And he just laughs.
Yeah,
like,
he has the weirdest laugh ever. And the dude's like, what the fuck is up with
yeah,
this
what the
guy?
fuck is up with this guy? Yeah. And the phone rings and he just like answers it and starts like talking in Italian or whatever they're fucking.
Yeah.
Maybe it was French. I forget what
She
it
was speaking like Mandarin or something.
Oh, yeah,
Whenever
yeah.
she picked up the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, they're on like the party line, just like talking back and forth to each other about some shit. Yeah, David Thewlis was funny
For
in
like
that
3
role.
minutes,
Yeah,
he's in the movie,
yeah.
just like
He's just reading a magazine, and that's like it. He laughs. He's like, "What the fuck is up with this guy?"
the dude's such a deadbeat.
But he's a great deadbeat.
He's a good guy, but he's just it's just like a stoner comedy. Through and
And then
through.
is Sam Elliott's character called the Man or like
The Stranger.
The Stranger?
Which is so that's the thing. It's strange because he begins the film narrating like this is a story about the dude, and then but he's also in the story,
Mhm.
and he fourth wall breaks also. So like
At the end, yeah.
he's like an omniscient character because he's like whenever
Well,
he's
isn't the narrator typically supposed
Well, yeah,
to be an
but
omniscient
the-
character?
it's yeah, but like if you're thinking about it in the confines of the story, you're like, oh, how would he know the stuff that the dude is doing? He's just like, according to what we see in the movie anyway, he's just some dude at the bowling alley that is talking to the dude.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
then
he's God.
He might be God, the stranger.
I'm sure that there's some theory on that Sam Elliott is actually God and the dude is Jesus or something like that. Like I'm sure that there's
Jesus is in the movie.
He is. He's a sex offender.
He is a sex offender. Which I gotta say, it's weird that he's like playing like a Hispanic person.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess obviously it was a far different time than
John
it is now.
Turturro plays some of the greatest roles.
He plays all kinds of roles. He
No,
plays
I know, but they're all great.
Yeah.
Like even like I recently within the last year went back and watched the Transformers movies, and he's great in those. He's like one of the highlights for me. Is Agent Simmons is like one of the best parts of the Transformers movies, just because he's so over the top with shit.
He's just like hamming it up
Yeah,
as he is with the character of Jesus
Yeah.
as well.
yeah, and I think that like especially for him in smaller roles like that aren't on screen like for the entire movie or something like that. You have the ability to really play those over the top without overshadowing anybody.
It's
But-
funny you say that because just last year, like either 2019 or 2020, 2021, in the past 3 years, there was a movie that is I don't know if it's an unofficial sequel, but it's a sequel of The Big Lebowski, and it's about Jesus. It's like a full-length movie directed by John Turturro. It's on Netflix, and it's apparently fucking horrible because anything would be horrible being with that character for more than the 6 minutes that he's in.
I was gonna say that character only works in that sense
Yeah,
because he's not an antagonist. There's nothing that
he's just kind of a piece of shit.
He's just there, and it's not like he's not relevant really to the plot. He's just kind of there to like I don't know, be a backdrop because I guess you have to make the bowling alley interesting. You can't just have the same three dudes doing the same thing at the bowling alley.
Yeah,
And another reason it wouldn't work is your main character has to be relatable.
Yeah, and really in this movie
Like he's a sex offender. He's
Yeah.
not going to be relatable.
No.
yeah.
like even in this movie, is there really
I mean, I guess it could be to some people.
like is there really any real antagonist? And I say this in the context of does anybody actually do anything inherently evil to be warranted as an antagonist?
I would argue the nihilists only because
They don't even do anything inherently evil.
they
They
cut
didn't.
off that girl's
She
toe.
volunteered. They thought they were getting $1 million. Like it was. They were all in on it. They're all too fucking dumb. They didn't actually have any leverage.
They burnt the car. That was pretty
Yeah. The Big Lebowski. The Big Lebowski
Walter because
himself.
he beats up that dude's Camaro for no reason.
I mean,
I think it was
yeah,
a Ferrari.
Well, yeah.
yeah. I would say that like that's definitely one of them. But like there really
I
isn't.
bought it last week.
And even Jesus.
Your car.
And even Jesus, like, isn't even an antagonist. He's just there. Like,
Yeah.
there really isn't an antagonist. It's just kind of the dude is swallowed up in this whole story. Like, even Jackie Treehorn just drugs him. He doesn't necessarily do anything.
The chief of police.
Chief of police was I would say that he is probably the most antagonistic of all of them. Because he just fucking throws a mug at his head and then choke slams him down to the floor.
Yeah, but going back, the name of the movie it came out in 2019. The name of the movie is The Jesus Roll.
Oh, I do remember hearing about that.
And the synopsis on IMDb is a trio of misfits whose irreverent, sexually charged dynamic evolves into a surprising love story as their spontaneous and flippant attitude towards the past or future backfires time and again. So, yeah, it's not very good. It has like a 4.5 out of 10 on IMDb rating.
Yeah, because it doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work.
But to that point, there are so many like kind of one-off characters like that throughout the entire movie.
And that's how they should be.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to spin something out. I understand if it was something that he enjoyed and really wanted to do, sure, go ahead, give it a shot and see what happens. But it wasn't, they're never meant to do that. It's like Star Wars with Glup Shido. Like, are you really going to spin out every fucking no-name character and give them a whole series and books and comic books? Like, some characters just aren't supposed to have all of that shit. They're supposed to be that nice little niche thing that happened, and then that's it.
Well, it's apparently working for Andor, at least.
No, it's definitely working for Andor.
I wouldn't know. I haven't watched it yet.
I've only watched 3 episodes.
Last episode came out today.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so there's, like, all these small characters, like the dude that Walter pulls the piece on, Jesus, like, the taxi driver that plays, what was it even, Hotel
Eagles.
California? I mean, yeah. The dude was like, come on, man, I hate the Eagles. He's like, get the fuck out of my car. It's my cab.
I think it was one of the dream sequences. There was, like, a weird piano-ish version of that song before, like, you heard the actual song.
I know when Jesus was bowling, they were playing a Spanish version of Hotel California.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, because it was like being played on like acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And when we were first watching,
Well, like it's different enough that like even I was like,
yeah, I was like, is it or isn't it? And then he starts singing it, and I was like, oh, it is Hotel California. Because I'm listening to like the progression. I'm like, that sounds a lot like Hotel California, but then it would change it a little bit.
There was like a couple accents that I was like, that's not.
I'm like, that's not Hotel California. And then it starts playing. The guy starts singing, and I'm like, it is Hotel California. Yeah.
Is that what was playing in the cab on the way?
No, that was
a different
Peaceful, Easy Feeling.
Yeah. Anyway,
I couldn't have told you that.
That's such a funny.
I've seen the Eagles before 2 of them died.
It's such a funny gag. The dude, after being drugged and beaten up by the chief of police of Malibu, he's just like wants to go back to his place, and the cab driver's like, I'll fucking listen to what I want, and kicks him out on the fucking highway.
So, before we cut back to him going back to the apartment, you and I were talking about a funny scene. So he builds he nails down a piece of 2x4 and sticks the chair to wedge under the door so nobody can break into his house. And literally as he finishes it, he turns around and the door opens because it opens outward and the chair falls down. He goes, fuck, and like turns around and it's the goons like waiting to like beat him up again.
Jackie Treehorn's dudes. He's like, he wants to talk to you.
And it's also great because we get even more payoff of that because he comes through the door later and trips him.
Yeah, and trips him after he gets kicked out of the cab, walks in and just trips over the 2x4 because he forgets it's there.
Another favorite gag of mine is whenever he is meeting with Jackie Treehorn and he like gets a fake call and he like starts writing something down. And so Jackie Treehorn wants a bunch of money because I guess Bunny like skipped out on some porno thing. I don't remember exactly. He owes him a lot of money, which is kind of the jumping off point of the entire film.
Yeah.
But he goes to his like pad and it's like really nice and he like gets him a drink or whatever. He gets a fake call and writes something on a notepad and he leaves and the dude gets up and scribbles to see what it is.
It's very like detective like.
Yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
that's smart of him,
Yeah.
like to be able to like use the side of the pencil to find out what it was.
Yeah.
Just a dude
It's
with
just like a dude with a dick,
yeah,
like a
some
huge dick.
He's like,
Yeah.
and then he rips it off and takes it back with him.
I like that he didn't like catch him doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, towards the end, it reminded me of The Nice Guys
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
it's goofy, goofy kind of
Blumbering
detective
private
work.
eyes.
Yeah, very much. He reminded me very much of more Ryan Gosling's character.
Mm.
Yeah, Russell Crowe is not as goofy in that movie.
No, he's a little bit more competent and seasoned.
Yes,
Versus
he's just a hard ass.
yeah.
But we already talked about that movie, so go watch that episode.
Or just go watch that movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah. I don't know what much else to say. It ends very somberly with the death of Donnie, and
Which just caught me way off guard.
Yeah.
Like it happened, I was like, huh? And then of course the stranger breaks fourth wall. And
Yeah.
was like, oh, I thought it was good. Shame I didn't like to see Donnie go.
yeah,
And I was like, yeah, I think everybody would agree with you.
and
I almost like wonder what kind of the point. Like I understand the heart attack, but like
it was, yeah, I don't know. I think it was just kind of to show like the dude just kind of making his way through life.
yeah.
He's just
And-
kind of
To give us that comedic bit where they scatter his ashes and they blow back like on the dude, and Walter turns around and he's like, oh shit, I'm sorry, dude.
yeah, he like sees that some of the remains are
Yeah.
on his jacket. He's like, oh man. And then he turns around and the dude's just covered
Covered.
head to toe in Donnie's ashes. Which that's also a great scene where Walter's just like, him and the dude and Donnie were like friends and like bowling teammates, but they really don't know anything about Donnie.
No.
He's like, Donnie loved bowling
Donnie
and
loves
surfing, and he was taken from us too soon. Just like those other men that were taken from us too soon. He
starts naming off
Yeah.
like battlegrounds
Yeah.
in Vietnam and like,
Walter has to relate everything in
To
his
Vietnam.
life back to Vietnam. It's so funny.
am I the only one who fucking cares about the rules?
Yeah, those are the hallmarks of he's an extremely antagonistic person. Everything relates back to either Vietnam or being a Jew.
Or his ex-wife.
Or his ex-wife.
I swear to God, you zero that card right now. No, I'm not gonna fucking zero that card. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now, zero.
Oh, another, this is like a very minor gag, but it's, the dude gets a call from
the league
from the
president.
league president, and he goes and talks to his landlord outside, which is like a 4-minute conversation, and then he comes in and they're still leaving a message
About
on his...
Walter pulling the gun on the other guy.
That's such an understated joke.
That's one of my favorite bits too, is when they leave after he pulls the gun. He's like, you can't fucking do that, Walter. And he's like talking about, they're in the car. And as they're in the car, you hear the sirens. They pull up to the bowling alley and you see the cops get out and run in. And they're just sitting there carrying on their conversation instead of getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah. Not a great response time for them.
No, and you think they would have been like, oh, they walked out.
Yeah, they're outside.
And Walter drives this car, or the dude has this car.
I think everybody likes the dude, so they don't want to rat him out, but Walter's just such an asshole. They even bring it up so many times. You're such an asshole, Walter.
Yeah, and especially with that, when the ashes come back, he's like, fucking asshole, Walter. Shit, I'm sorry, dude. Let's
Fuck
go
it,
bowling.
fuck it, man. Let's just go bowling.
Fuck it, man. Go bowling. John Goodman's such a great actor.
He's fantastic.
This might be my new favorite John Goodman role.
It is a top role.
Like
for
his line
for him.
delivery and everything.
He's incredibly well cast for this
Yeah.
character. I mean, it's still the funniest shit to me.
Something
when he rolls
about-
out of that car.
But
It's like, "Oh, I'm going to need this."
John Goodman just swearing up a storm. I think it's hilarious. I don't know why.
And I like how like when Donnie is like chiming in, asking questions, and like he gets progressively more angry, and he's like, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie! You're out of your element."
Yeah.
Like, I just want a compilation of his.
Yeah.
Like, just.
There's probably just a
I'm
super
sure,
cut
yeah.
of this movie where it's all Walter.
Yeah.
Just screaming.
Right, your element, Donnie.
But yeah, I don't know if I have any much else to say.
That's about all I got.
It's just a thoroughly enjoyable film.
It is.
It's very funny. As
Yeah.
well.
It is
As the
very
stranger
funny,
says.
and you don't really think that it's like starting to watch it. You don't think it's gonna be like as funny as it is, but
Yeah, I wasn't exactly. I don't know if I knew that it was as much of a comedy as it was.
no, I had no idea. It was so
Like,
much of a comedy.
Even some of their most serious movies, the Coens, they're just like littered with comedy throughout.
Well, like Miller's Crossing.
Yeah.
When he's talking to the police chief, and it's like a mirrored shot of like somebody like getting shot or like falling out a window,
Yeah.
and it's like different.
Like that's a pretty serious like toned movie, but
Yeah.
it's also just like
But
riddled
they have fun with it at
with
least.
visual
But-
comedy.
But I mean, like it's not like this is a comedy where it's not like, let's say, a stoner comedy like Pineapple Express,
Exactly.
Yeah.
where they rely on dick jokes or
Yeah.
like something like that to
Yeah. If Judd Apatow had written and directed this, it would be an entirely different thing.
yeah. So it's like I said, I enjoy the comedy of this because it's not as ham-fisted. Like, ha! I said dick. Laugh.
right.
Like
Yeah.
this is more just it's what happens is funnier.
It's just well written
Yeah.
Yeah.
comedy.
The
It
dude is just things are just happening to the dude.
Yeah.
And the absurdity of it is just like
Yeah, and I mean that's what the Coens are really good at is creating the absurd.
yeah. I mean they're just good at writing characters. Like every character that they like we've even mentioned there's very small characters throughout the movie, but you know everything about them just from the little interactions
Yeah.
that they have. Like Jesus is on screen for 6 minutes, you know exactly who that character
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, exactly. That's just tight writing.
Yeah.
And like that's something that's highly sought after. You like people create these iconic characters, and then you have people who spend years in like film school and writing that don't ever come that close. Like these are just geniuses who know exactly. Okay, we're gonna make sure they know everything about every single one of these characters as soon as they meet them, and that's just smart writing.
Yeah.
Coens are good at what they do.
Very good. They've had some duds.
Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar was alright. Four Brothers, that's one that people don't really like.
Never heard of that.
It's not. I'm thinking Lady Killers is the name of the movie.
Mm.
J.K. Simmons, Tom Hanks.
Oh, okay.
It's
How do you
about
fuck that up.
it's about these five guys who they try and like kill this woman to like gain an inheritance or something. I don't know. I've only watched the movie once, but it's on the lower end of their films. But yeah, I love everything pretty much that they've made. Obviously, I've recommended 3 of their movies at this point for the show, but yeah. Rating time.
Rating time.
I'll go first. I am going to rate it 9 out of 10. I love this movie. It's very funny. There's hardly anything wrong with it, if anything. Just like as you say, it's extremely tight. It's very funny. The acting is honestly incredible. And yeah, it's just really good.
I'm gonna go 8.5 out of 10. Just because like 9 I would put as I don't know my like favorite movies. But
I'm gonna echo your 8.5 out of 10. It's very good, and it's above my average rating
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, it is a very good movie. I will definitely be watching this again.
Yeah. This is another film where it's like you gain new things
Every time.
upon rewatching it. Just like new jokes, subtle jokes, things like that thrown out.
There's a lot of movies that we've picked where there are a lot of subtle things that we don't pick up on until the second or third.
I mean I shit you not, like I watch Back to the Future I don't know how many times a year. Like I
You still
still
find
find different things. I'm like, oh, that's funny. Like, or just pick up on different things. So yeah.
It's better than Georgetown.
It is better than Georgetown.
For sure. Much more entertaining.
But
They can't all
I finished this one.
they can't all be winners.
no, they can't. Speaking of our previous recommendation and this recommendation, we have another recommendation coming for us.
What a
And it's
shocker.
going to come out in December. I don't know if that'll influence
Not
your
at all.
decision or anything.
Not at all.
But Mike, please enlighten us.
With recent things that have happened, I'm going to pick the 1995 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers
I
movie.
knew,
Oh.
I knew that's what it was going to be. Yeah, that's what it was gonna be.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Tommy.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Did you get to meet Jason David
I
Frank?
did not. And I'm really pissed that I didn't go when he was. It was only like 2 years ago he was
Mhm.
down in
Yep.
Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So, if you don't want to be spoiled next time for the 19-something 1995 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers film, make sure to watch it before next time. I hope you guys enjoyed watching or listening to our The Big Lebowski conversation. I know we enjoyed having it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next one, guys.
Like, comment, abide.
That's right. The dude abides.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.